if you were living back, say, around 30 AD, and you wanted to be the man with the plan, rolling through the land, ladies captivated, palm of your hand, a player on a level every other guy hates, the envy of his mates, peeling off bills in a way that never abates, something like a second century Bill Gates, a guy people fawn all over, like he's royalty, drinking fine champagne, eating caviar and brie in the most exclusive nightclubs, private sector. The profession you'd be looking for? Tax collector. Oh yeah, no joke. Though, let me be clear, a point I ought to address. Let me stress, I'm not talking about working for the IRS. I mean, it was a gig for the government, yeah, for sure. But the Romans upstairs, they didn't much care whether the fare you charged was fair. There was no pull to be aware how you went about it. I mean, just beware if you don't stay square, then you're on a wing and a prayer. I mean, just get them their money, honey. Beyond that, they don't care what funny business you choose to pull. So, if you didn't have much of a conscience, your coffers were full. And since a people proud don't want to corrupt their own crowd, to be the taxman, who would they choose? Oh yeah, the Jews. And the Jews, who were not stressed to lose their family, their heritage, and their community, were quite ideal for such an opportunity. And they would rob you with impunity, because they'd be rich like Scrooge McDuck. But as far as love, out of luck. Every loved one they had became a straight up hater, because you're the worst kind of traitor. You're trash. You're dead to them. You are out of the clan, and you best believe there ain't no way back in, man. So there's this one cat named Matt getting fat on the finest cuisine. You know what I mean. Fine threads and jewels, the popular crowd vying for your attention, and need I mention power. Everyone would cower as they approached the tower, passing by your booth, because the cold, hard truth is if you caught 30 fish, but he taxed you on 80, and you found the fee a little too weighty, but still wanted to pass, Matt had a Roman soldier right there who would kick your, well, suffice to say, alas, you were at an impasse. Because Matt was a tyrant. He took advantage of the law. So one's got to wonder, what in God's name Jesus saw in this greedy, lying, selfish, cold, amoral turncoat we learn about in the Holy Scriptures that the good Lord wrote. Why does Jesus cast a vote for this outcast crook? I mean, look, Peter, James, and John fished in that very same town. They had to pass this clown. They must have wanted to retch, thinking about all the times they returned with their catch, or kill him themselves when they saw this thief was joining up as one of the 12. And why would Matt consider leaving his prime spot, or at least asking, well, what is it you got? What sort of opportunity are you bringing so fine that it'd make me be willing to leave mine? But in fact, pretty much nothing is what he was told. He wasn't sold. There was no bold, compelling pitch. The Son of Man said, "Follow me." And Matt just walked out from the booth, never to return. Because a fire inside began to burn, not for money or for power, but for the gospel. The taxman was gone. He was now an apostle. And that big throwdown between the boys, which was set to take place, was instead replaced by unity. Imagine that. Peter, John, James, and Matt sharing fellowship and love cast down from a powerful source above, because that source, the same source inside the Savior, knew to fundamentally change behavior, to fix in folks what had gone awry. They'd need to be able to identify. So, take a normal looking dude from Bethlehem and a ragtag group who were just like them. If the goal in mind is a world rearranged, start with a group who's already been changed. Like Matt. One day, no mercy for any pleading face. The next day, a bringer of grace. Matt, who would happily screw you royal, becoming fiercely loyal. Matt, who would tax you if your shoes had dust, made just. Matt, whose greed left broken men and grieving wives, transformed into a saver of lives. Matt, who is cruel and quite hostile, ends up writing the first book of the gospel. See, Matt's the atheist. Matt's the believer. Matt's the guy on the fence. Matt's the Jew. Matt is the agnostic, screaming, none of this makes any sense. But when the rubber hits the road and the word came calling, he knew it was time to commence. So in all the waiting and anticipating and hesitating and pontificating and calculating bring you to a cold, dead end, pick your head up and sit your eyes straight, because he'll be waiting right there, my friend. And when he says, follow me, don't pack up no stuff, no goodbyes, don't waste time talking. Leave everything you own right there in the booth. Step down and just start walking.